Have you ever been in a conversation where, within 10 seconds, you already knew, this person doesn't want understanding, they want victory? They talk louder as if volume equals truth. They slip in a sarcastic comment to throw you off balance. They casually put you down in front of others just to lift themselves up. And the moment you react, they smirk and say, "Relax. Why are you getting so upset? It's an old game." Yet people fall for it every day. And here's the trap. The more polite you are, the more patient you are, the more you let things slide, the more they mistake your self-control for weakness. You let it go in the moment. But later, your mind keeps replaying it. What should I have said? I should have responded differently. You go home carrying the conversation long after it's over. Not because you're weak, because you've been pulled into a pointless game, arguing to defend your ego. Let me be direct. Arrogant people are not strong, they're just loud. They need your reaction, because your reaction gives them a stage. They thrive on conflict, because silence exposes how little substance is underneath. That's why, if you want to win, don't play by their rules. Don't shout. Don't over-explain. Don't ask for permission. Do one thing instead. Control your response. In this video, I'm going to give you 3 short, calm, and highly effective phrases, not to make you aggressive, not to help you win arguments, but to shut down arrogance the moment it appears, to protect your dignity, to protect your energy, and to end the drama before it even begins. These 3 phrases leave arrogant people with nothing to grab onto. You stay calm. You stay respectful. But your boundaries remain crystal clear. And that's what real power looks like. Section 1. You're entitled to your opinion. Phrase number 1 sounds gentle, but it's actually surgical. You're entitled to your opinion. Arrogant people survive on one thing: your resistance. They throw out comments to get a reaction. The stronger your reaction, the more ammunition they have. See, they're emotional. See, they're insecure. See, I got under their skin. They win by pulling you away from your calm and dragging you into a pointless battle of ego. So what do? You look them in the eye. Your voice stays steady. No sarcasm. No smirk, no attitude, and you simply say, "You're entitled to your opinion." Then stop. That's it. Why is this phrase so powerful? Because it breaks the structure of the conflict. It's like releasing the air from an overinflated balloon. An arrogant person expects resistance. They expect you to argue. They expect you to explain. They expect you to defend yourself. You do none of those things. You simply acknowledge their right to have an opinion. You don't agree. You don't apologize. You don't surrender. You simply refuse to step into the ring. Remember this. This is not giving in. This is setting a boundary. What you're really saying is, "I heard what you said, but I have no obligation to dance to the rhythm of your ego." The thing arrogant people hate most is someone they cannot provoke, because provoking others is often their only strategy. The calmer you remain, the more childish they appear, and everyone around you can see who is truly in control. Imagine a meeting. Someone keeps interrupting. Someone acts like the judge, jury, and expert on everything. That's a stupid idea. I've been doing this for years. Just listen to me. The room gets tense. Everyone waits for your response. You simply say, "You're entitled to your opinion." Then stay quiet. No extra words. No explanation. No self-defense. No attempt to win. The silence afterward is what unsettles them. because suddenly they've lost their stage. And a stage only exists when someone keeps performing on it. This phrase has another major advantage. It protects your peace of mind. Instead of taking their words home and replaying them all night, you stop them at the door. You don't carry their garbage into your evening. You don't let one foolish comment ruin your entire day. You don't lower yourself just to be understood. You protect your peace and move on. But there's a right way to use it. If you say it with sarcasm, you're pouring gasoline on the fire. If you say it nervously, you're signaling fear. The phrase must come with the right presence. Stand tall. Keep steady eye contact. Breathe normally. Say it once. Then stop. Don't follow it with, yeah, but. The moment you add, but, you've opened the door for another argument. The conversation starts all over again. The power is in the ending. The power is in your willingness to leave the conflict unfinished. That's what most people cannot do. To summarize, phrase number 1 removes the fuel. You don't put out the fire by fighting it. You put out the fire by refusing to feed it. And without fuel, the fire dies on its own. Real life works exactly the same way. Ata parti. Someone tries to embarrass you for a laugh. Someone wants attention at your expense. If you fight back, you become part of the drama. If you awkwardly laugh it off, they think they've won. But when you calmly say, you're entitled to your opinion, you put them back where they belong, a person expressing an opinion, not a person delivering a verdict. You give them the right to think whatever they want. And at the same time, you take back your own power. That's confidence. That's self-respect. And that's control. Now let's move to phrase number 2, the phrase that slows everything down and puts you back in control of the conversation. Section 2. I'd like to hear more before I respond. Phrase number 2 is the one that makes arrogant people stumble because it throws off their rhythm. I'd like to hear more before I respond. Arrogant people love speed. They talk fast. They talk over others. They speak with absolute certainty, not because they're always right, but because confidence creates the appearance of being right. Their goal is simple: get you to react immediately. Why? Because immediate reactions are usually emotional reactions, and emotions are easier to manipulate. So you do the exact opposite. You slow down. You pause. You refuse to give them the satisfaction of triggering you. Instead, you calmly say, I'd like to hear more before I respond. Sounds polite, doesn't it? It's not weakness. It's a hidden power move. Because this phrase does 3 things at once. First, it takes control of the pace. Second, it refuses the pressure to answer immediately. Third, it moves you from the position of being judged to the position of observing. Most people are trapped by a form of toxic politeness. They're afraid of silence, afraid of being judged, afraid that others will think they're rude or disrespectful, so they rush to respond. That's a mistake. Respect does not mean allowing someone else to control your reactions. You have the right to pause. You have the right to think. You have the right not to answer immediately. Anyone who demands an instant response is often trying to control the conversation. Now, watch what happens psychologically. When you say, I'd like to hear more before I respond, the arrogant person is forced to keep talking. And the more they talk, the more likely they are to reveal themselves. Contradictions appear. Emotions leak out. Weak arguments become obvious. And sometimes their true goal becomes clear. They never wanted understanding. They wanted dominance. Meanwhile, you remain steady. You observe. You collect information. You don't get pulled into their emotional current. And everyone around you notices something important. You are not being led around. Imagine a familiar situation, a family discussion. Someone declares, "I'm right." End of discussion. If you fight back, the conversation explodes. If you stay silent and surrender, they gain momentum. Instead, you say, "I'd like to hear more before I respond." You're not attacking them, but you're removing their ability to dictate the pace. You've shifted the frame from a confrontation to a conversation, and that's a powerful shift. This phrase also sends a subtle message. I'm not speaking to win. I'm speaking to understand. People with real confidence can afford to move slowly. Insecure people rush. Confident people choose their timing. They choose their words. They choose their energy. The slower and calmer you become, the more control you gain. And that frustrates arrogant people because they lose their favorite tool, pressure. One important warning: if you use this phrase, actually listen. Don't use it as a trick while secretly preparing a counterattack. Listen. Pay attention. Separate facts from emotions. Separate truth from performance. Separate information from ego. When you do that, you create something incredibly valuable. Distance, and that distance gives you freedom. Without distance, you're just reacting. Without distance, you're a puppet. The same principle applies online. Someone throws out a provocative comment. Someone wants to drag you into a pointless argument. They're hoping you'll fire back immediately. Instead, you say, "I'd like to hear more before I respond." Then stop typing. Just stop. You may have just saved yourself hours of frustration and a completely wasted evening. So here's the takeaway. Phrase number 2 is the brake pedal. It stops the automatic reaction and puts your hands back on the steering wheel. You don't need to win in that moment. You need to remain in control of yourself. And when you're in control of yourself, arrogant people lose their rhythm. Now let's move to the final phrase, the one that shuts down the stage completely. Section 3. If that makes you happy, then okay. Phrase number 3 is the one that ends the game. If that makes you happy, then okay. Does it sound like you're giving in? Not at all. This is how you close the stage without creating a scene. Arrogant people want one thing above all else: an emotional victory. They want you angry. They want you defending yourself. They want you explaining. They want proof that they got under your skin, because the moment you react emotionally, they feel powerful. But when you say, "If that makes you happy, then okay," you do something psychologically devastating. You reduce their behavior to what it really is: a search for emotional satisfaction, not truth, not solution, not understanding, just validation. What you're really saying is, if you need this win to feel good about yourself, I'm not going to fight you for it. And in that moment, the mask slips. The image of superiority starts to crack, because underneath arrogance is often a deep need for approval. That's why this phrase is so effective. It gives them nothing to hold on to. If they keep arguing, they reveal how badly they need to win. If they go silent, they've lost the stage. If they raise their voice, they look smaller, not stronger. There is no graceful path forward for them. And that's fine. Your goal isn't to defeat them. Your goal is to end the game. Imagine a coworker who constantly shows off. someone who criticizes you in front of others, someone who takes credit, someone who throws little jabs whenever possible. If you fight back, you become part of the drama. If you stay silent forever, they keep pushing. Then one day they finish with something like, "Let's stop talking about it. Everybody knows I'm right anyway." You look at them and calmly say, "If that makes you happy, then okay." And then you stop. No explanation, no sarcastic smile, no second round. Just stop. The silence afterward is often what unsettles them, because they're used to winning by pulling people into emotional reactions. You never stepped into the arena. You stayed outside of it. And that means you're free. The people around you notice something important too. You weren't defeated. You simply refused to participate. But here's an important warning. Don't use this phrase on people who are giving sincere feedback. Don't use it to avoid accountability. Don't use it as a shield against every uncomfortable conversation. This phrase is for situations where the ego game is obvious. Personal attacks, mockery, power plays, attempts to humiliate, attempts to dominate. In other words, use it when their goal isn't understanding, it's winning. Here's a golden rule. After using this phrase, leave the argument, change the subject, return to your work, take a sip of water, remain silent, move on. The death of drama is the absence of fuel. The more you explain, the more you feed it, the more you argue, the more you reopen the door. This phrase closes the door, and if you learn to use it well, you'll save something incredibly valuable, your energy. That energy belongs to your work, your health, your family, your goals, your peace of mind. Don't waste it trying to prove yourself to someone who's addicted to attention. That's a terrible trade. This phrase allows you to reject that trade with a single sentence. One final tip. After saying it, do something that clearly signals closure. Look down at your notes. Write something. Take a drink of water. Turn your attention back to the task at hand. That action becomes the period at the end of the sentence. It tells everyone in the room the conversation is over. And anyone who keeps pushing after that only reveals their own lack of self-control. Now let's bring all three phrases together, not as clever tricks, but as habits of self-respect. Conclusion. Let's keep this simple. You do not need to defeat arrogant people. You only need to stop them from controlling you. They survive on your reactions. They need you to get angry so they have a stage. They need you to explain yourself so they can pull you into a cheap game of ego and one-upmanship. And the moment you step into that game, it doesn't matter how clever you are, you're still playing by their rules. These three phrases help you walk away from the game. Phrase, Hasson. You're entitled to your opinion. This removes the fuel from the fire. You don't agree. But you don't explode either. You let the fire burn without feeding it. And eventually, it dies on its own. Phrase #2. I'd like to hear more before I respond. This puts your hands back on the steering wheel. You refuse to let someone else control the pace. You don't respond because you've been triggered. You respond because you've chosen to. Phrase #3. If that makes you happy, then okay. This closes the stage. What you're really saying is, I'm not buying into your ego, and I'm not paying for it with my peace of mind. But here's the biggest benefit of all. You save your energy. Instead of wasting energy on arguments, you use it to live your life, to do meaningful work, to take care of your health, to spend time with your family. to sleep well, to train your body, to read, to build discipline. Those are the things that actually improve your life. Not winning an argument at 7 o'clock in the evening and then staying angry about it for the rest of the night. So here's your challenge. This week, pick one phrase. Just one. Don't try to master all three at once. Choose one and use it well. Say it calmly. Say it clearly. Then stop. No explanations. No extra words. No second round. Because every explanation reopens the door to drama. Stopping is what closes it. If you've watched this far, leave this comment. I don't argue with arrogance. I master myself. And tell me, which phrase will you use first? Phrase #own, phrase #2, or phrase #3? Conclusion. Let's keep this simple. You do not need to defeat arrogant people. You only need to stop them from controlling you. They survive on your reactions. They need you to get angry so they have a stage. They need you to explain yourself so they can pull you into a cheap game of ego and one-upmanship. And the moment you step into that game, it doesn't matter how clever you are, you're still playing by their rules. These three phrases help you walk away from the game. Phrase #own. You're entitled to your opinion. This removes the fuel from the fire. You don't agree. But you don't explode either. You let the fire burn without feeding it. And eventually, it dies on its own. Phrase #2. I'd like to hear more before I respond. This puts your hands back on the steering wheel. You refuse to let someone else control the pace. You don't respond because you've been triggered. You respond because you've chosen to. Phrase #3. If that makes you happy, then okay. This closes the stage. What you're really saying is, I'm not buying into your ego, and I'm not paying for it with my peace of mind. But here's the biggest benefit of all. You save your energy. Instead of wasting energy on arguments, you use it to live your life, to do meaningful work, to take care of your health, to spend time with your family, to sleep well, to train your body, to read, to build discipline. Those are the things that actually improve your life. Not winning an argument at 7 o'clock in the evening and then staying angry about it for the rest of the night. So here's your challenge. This week, pick one phrase. Just one. Don't try to master all three at once. Choose one and use it well. Say it calmly. Say it clearly. Then stop. No explanations. No extra words. No second round. Because every explanation reopens the door to drama. Stopping is what closes it. If you've watched this far, leave this comment. I don't argue with arrogance. I master myself. And tell me, which phrase will you use first? Phrase #own, phrase #2, or phrase #3?